Hey everyone, Cathie Investor back to our earnings video. So in today's video, we're going to go over Zoom Communication. They released their earnings report. At the time of making this video, the stock is down around 8%. Now, overall, the quarter wasn't that bad. Yes, they did miss a little bit on their own expectation. They did change full year guidance as well. But before we go and look at that, remember ARK Invest and Cathie and their position with Zoom. I believe it's still probably the top 3 stock that they're holding. And remember when they came out with their investment thesis about Zoom and the price target it could reach in a couple of years? If you don't, should I remind you right here? So they actually have 3 price targets for Zoom. A bear case of $700 a share, which is more than 7 times the price it is today, a medium case of $1,500, and a bull case of $2,000. Now I'll just show you a couple of numbers right here that was summarized in this Motley Fool article. So Zoom right now, according to ARK Invest, has 212 million total Zoom users. Obviously that has changed a little bit, but just for the sake of discussion here, let's keep using those numbers here. 36 million paying users, and then average revenue per user, per paying one, $113 annually. Now Zoom in 2026, according to ARK Invest medium case, total Zoom users to just be 291 million. Paying Zoom users to increase quite a lot to 146 million. And then the average revenue per paying user to increase almost 3 times to $356 annually. And I'll end by reading this. In ARK Invest model, Zoom would be generating about $52 billion in annual revenue in 2026, at a 26% free cash flow margin, and have market capitalization of around $510 billion. So the model is calling for $13.5 billion in free cash flow, which would be astounding. And the model expects the stock to trade at 37 times this free cash flow. Now, whether this will happen or not, I don't know. But if you look at the numbers that we're going to have right now, it does look a bit far-fetched, but hey, who knows what might happen in the next 4 years. Now, before we go and actually look at this earnings report, I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Now, Stock Advisor has actually beat the market comfortably over the years. So all you have to do is go to fool.com/couchinvestor or go and check the links down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the best 10 stock picks now. All right, so first thing they show us here is Zoom Phone. So Zoom Phone is something that not a lot of people know about, but it's actually pretty incredible how fast they have grown that segment. So for this quarter, while it has grown 112% year over year, that's an account with over 10,000 paid seats, it surpassed 4 million Zoom Phone seats in August. Last quarter, actually, it hit 3 million Zoom Phone seats. So that increased by 1 million already in August. Pretty impressive. Some more deals that got announced here. So they closed 2 record-breaking over 125,000 seat deals at the end of the quarter. They show us some more wins here. UCLA, Warner Bros. Discovery, Ancestry, and Optiv. Last quarter, that was Avis, Humana, and so on and so forth. So pretty good wins here. Now, as for total revenue, which was a miss, that grew 8% year over year to $1.099 billion. And that's just up a little bit from last quarter, which was $1.074 billion. Now, as for enterprise revenue, that grew 27% year over year, and that now accounts for 54% of revenue share. Last quarter, that was 52%, and it's also a quite little actually increase from last quarter. We're now sitting at $599 million. Last quarter was $560 million. As for numbers of enterprise customers, that grew 18% year over year to 204.1 thousand. Last quarter, just under 199,000. As for the trailing 12-month net dollar expansion rate for enterprise customers, that sits at 120%. Nice number. It is down though from 123% in the last quarter. As for customers that are contributing more than $100,000 in trailing 12-month revenue, that increased 37% year over year and now makes 26% share of total revenue. Last quarter that was 24%, and the number of customers was 2,916. So nice little increase here quarter over quarter as well. As for growth in different areas, so APAC grew 10% year over year, but remained flat quarter over quarter. As for Europe and Middle East, that's down 8% year over year, and it's also down quarter over quarter. Last quarter that was 197 million, but Americas is up 12% year over year and also up around 40 million quarter over quarter. As for revenue share per region, obviously it follows the trend here. APAC 13.6%, last quarter was 13.9%. Europe, Middle East 17%, last quarter 18.3%. And then Americas is now 69.4%, little increase from last quarter, which was 67.8%. Now, as for the expenses and margins, so gross margin, non-GAAP, I'll go with non-GAAP here, 78.9%. That's a little increase from last quarter. R&D expenses is up, sales and marketing expenses is up as well. G&A is actually down a little bit from last quarter, and operating margin sits at 35.8%, which was also a beat, but is a little bit down from last quarter, which was 37.2%. Now, as for earnings per share, non-GAAP again, $1.05. That's down 23% year over year, and it's just up a little bit from $1.03 last quarter, and that was also a beat. Now, as for future revenue under contract, so RPO, remaining performance obligations, that grew 37% year over year. The total unbilled grew 55%, and deferred revenue grew 19% to $1.4 billion. Last quarter, that was $1.33 billion. Now, as for current and non-current RPO, this refers to the portion of total RPO which they expect to recognize as revenue over the following 12-month period. So that the total grew 37% year over year to $3.21 billion. That's up quarter over quarter as well. Non-current up 72%, and current is up 21%. Now, as for their cash position, $5.5 billion. Last quarter was 5.7, and last year was 5.1. As for operating cash flow and margin, $257 million in operating cash flow. That was actually a miss. Consensus was $355 million. And operating cash flow margin, 23.4%. Adjusted free cash flow and the margin, $222 million and 20.2%. That's obviously down quarter over quarter as well from $501 million and 46.7%. And they used $426 million of their cash for share repurchases year to date. Now, as for the outlook for next quarter, so revenue was a miss. They're guiding for 1.098 at the midpoint. Street was expecting 1.15. Non-GAAP operating income is coming in at 328 at the midpoint. Consensus was $362 million. And then non-GAAP earnings per share came in at 83 cents, also a miss. Consensus was 91 cents. Now, as for the full year, they're expecting $4.39 billion at the midpoint, also a miss. All of them are misses actually. Consensus was $4.53 billion. Operating income coming in at $1.445 billion. Consensus was 1.5. And then non-GAAP earnings per share, $3.68 at the midpoint. Consensus was $3.75. And then for those that are interested, Investor Day, Zoomtopia, usually a very nice event, November 8th. And so going back to what I mentioned at the start of this video, Cathie Wood's and ARK Invest investment thesis and price targets really seem very, very far-fetched, especially after looking at those numbers. Now, I'm not saying that this quarter was a disaster. Far from it, we've seen worse reports in recent weeks. Even the reduced guidance for full year isn't that bad, right? We've seen much, much worse than that. But looking at the numbers today and then looking at what ARK Invest is expecting 4 years from now, well, some changes will need to happen pretty quickly because growth needs to accelerate, not decelerate. But overall, again, for those that are still holding Zoom or maybe might be interested in buying Zoom pretty soon, what do you think about this quarter? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.